Welcome to today's webinar. My name's Andrew Talbot and I'm going to take you through a beginner's guide on how easy it is to embed live preview on your website. So let me just give you a quick introduction and explain why I would bother adding live preview to the website. So it doesn't have to be your website either. It could be a social media page, an email. Adding preview is interactive. So why would you do it? Well, there's no doubt, there's incontrovertible evidence that it improves your conversion rate. So if you want to sell more, add preview. It certainly reduces returns because people can see what they're buying, reduces customer service calls, there's less query. It certainly improves the user experience. And we all know nowadays it's about adding theatre to the sale, gamifying the process, if you like. Certainly helps you simplify the sales process for more complex products, so people understand them better, and it enables you to sell more complex products, as I can demonstrate for you. And ultimately, if you've got a live preview system like ours, when it generates the artwork too, it'll save you a lot of time in the factory. So that's why we bother. So let's kind of understand how we do it and how we make it easy. So I'm going to show you in a bit something called a smart link. And a smart link is literally like a website address. So it's, technical terms, it's an HTML5 web app that can be added to any web page. So it's like having a link on your web page. Every smart link is a URL, which I'll show you in a minute. They're highly configurable and they can be used to sell all sorts of different products, you know, be it a photo upload product, customizing a design, just using a print on demand and changing the color. So smart links are highly flexible. So I think the best way to show you why it's easy is to show you an example. So that's a personalized product someone's created in our system. And if we just go and look at a smart link example, it shows you that there are two elements that are changeable within that design. And I'm not going to show you how to set up products today. We've got other webinars that do that for you. But that shows you kind of what a live preview is. And now I'm actually going to build the smart link for you, just to show you what a smart link is. So first of all, you can choose the style, the one we were looking at. So there's all sorts of different styles of smart link, different ones for different purposes. But let's just stick with a fairly simplistic one for the example. So we can pick that smart link. We can then pick the default settings and configuration. We can pick the company, and then we've got a load of advanced options. But ultimately, that has now generated a smart link. If you were to scan the QR code off the screen, if you had your mobile to hand, you'd get that smart link. But if I just copy that, if I were to open a new tab now, so we go on there, go paste in that smart link, and you'll see that that will bring up the preview. Now, we'll talk a little bit about it later, but the previews are, depending on which one you use, responsive, etc. So you can change the size of them. But that's how we generate smart links. So that link is easy to add to any website. And I'm going to go into a little bit more detail now. So what are my deployment options? So I've got my link here that we've just created. So I can add them as a modal window. And what a modal window is, let's just use this example here. If I go on to this website and I choose the size, and then when I hit this personalize and add to bag, it pops up a modal window, which is the smart link. So I can obviously then type in the information onto that. The reason modal windows are quite popular is they're very easy to deploy. All you have to do is add that link code behind the button we've just seen. And they work exceptionally well on mobile, which we'll talk about a bit later on. So that's why a modal window is quite popular. But equally, another approach you can have And excuse me for doing Leeds stuff today. Other football clubs are available. When I click that product now, that's an embedded link or an iframe. So if we go back to our list, that's the iframe option where I click on a product and it goes straight to the customization window. And then obviously I can go through a process where it changes the phone case. This is what we call our step tap. In terms of that, and you can just see how the smart link is working. So we call that an iframe. And then the third option we have on here is what we call a JavaScript container. So it's similar to an iframe, but in this case, on this particular website, somebody's just embedded it straight on the page, on the product page, and they've used like a div or JavaScript. We won't get too technical, but they've embedded it on the same page. So you can really be flexible once you've created your smart link on where and how you use it. And the fourth one I've got, which is very good for in-store and things like that, is a smart link. So, sorry, smart link, a QR code. Or that could be a link in your email, because you can see, and we'll talk about it in a second, you've got an add to cart button on there. So you can actually use a smart link or a preview without even having an e-commerce website. So the e-commerce website is the most common. And to make your life even easier, for some of the top e-commerce packages, we've already got extensions written. So if you're using one of these platforms, there's no programming for you to do at all. You can just install the extension and then paste that smart link into a field on the product and everything will work. So that really is easy. And let's be honest about it, between Magento, WooCommerce and Shopify, you're covering well over half the e-commerce sites in the world now. And we've got others as well. These aren't the only ones we've got. I'm just sort of showing those because they're the easiest. And if I went back to this one, this is using our standard Magento e-commerce. This one was using the standard WooCommerce extension. This one was bespoke using our API. So all of those are options for you in how simple it is to do. Now, I'll try not to be too technical here, but I'll just explain the flow of how it works. So we've already looked at what is a smart link. We do have another tool as well that if you capture text and images on another part of your website, you can pass them programmatically into the smart link using a post message API. But let's just say you've seen the smart link, you've seen me change them. On the smart link, and if we go and look at one of the smart links, again, there's a button called Add to Cart. Now that's within the smart link. So if we look at our flow, what happens is when that Add to Cart button is pressed, it uses something called a post message API, which creates an Add to Cart callback event, which you can grab with JavaScript on your website, and it gives you a print job ID. That print job ID has recorded all the unique personalization that you've added to a product. So in this case, it would know that it's this design with those details on it. So when the website then tells, and you don't have to do this, this is for a full workflow. You could simply ignore the preview here and just, ignore the Add to Cart button, remove it from your smart link, and simply do the preview on the screen. But the advantage here, if you follow this whole process and you get the print job ID, and then you send us the order ID from the website, and all of those extensions, all of this is already done, we've then got the artwork already made that can be sent to your own printer or a network of printers. So this isn't just about preview, it's actually about a whole workflow, but it could be as simple as just preview. So if I've lost you a bit there, don't worry about it. It's something one of our team could explain to you in more detail, but hopefully I've given you the concept of the preview. Now, you probably saw when I went through the Smart Link, we've got hundreds of different types of app available. We can make custom ones. You can use CSS to change them. So you can make our customization or our preview tools look like your website. And I'm going to talk about it later on, but we've got something here called productpersonalizationapps.com, which have got hundreds of different examples and the latest product examples, but you can just type in here or explore via the menu structure, and then you'll be able to see all the different styles of preview that are on offer. And you can just see some examples on the screen there now. So the other thing I wanted to just explain is what is a live preview. Live preview is particularly exciting because it's more of a gamification process. You know, people are typing and seeing what's happened live at that moment in time. So we do offer a delayed preview, but 90% of applications of our smart links are live preview. And all that means now is all modern web browsers support it. And it changes as you type in the text. As you upload the image, you can manipulate it live on the screen. And you can have validation rules in place. Because that's the other thing about text boxes. You know, if your name's too long and you type it, well, it might cut it off, but you can't see how that looks on the screen. So having validation rules live on a live preview is good. You can also add things like a profanity filter. So if someone, you know, puts a swear word or something on the screen, it'll automatically star it out on the screen so people can see that they won't be able to do that. So live preview has many advantages over a more static preview system. And excuse the whistle-stop speed if you haven't been on one of our webinars before. The idea is just to give you a quick flavour of everything, and then we're always happy to talk personalisation later. So nowadays, everything really is about mobile or desktop. Because we've got 20 or 30 of these different smart links available, we have them for different purposes. But all our modern ones are responsive, so they work perfectly well on mobile or desktop. And the really modern ones, like the Flow and the Stepped Smart Link, have been designed mobile first because there's more traffic on mobile now. So we've got a different smart links for different applications, but it is key to make sure they work on mobile. And the key on mobile, to be honest, which is why people are using the modal window approach we looked at earlier, is to keep it simple. Keeping it simple is essential. Okay, this is quite a good example. We've got, and you'll have seen, we've got choices in terms of how things are displayed. So you can have a simple 2D view, which was kind of what we've looked at mainly so far. But I think what is rather nice is when you've got a 2D view. So if you take this example here, I'm on my 2D view, I add my image, and then I can take that and turn it into a 3D preview. So what that then does is it's let me design in 2D because it was easier, but then explore the product in 3D. And that is an increasingly popular approach, you know, in this concept where I could, you know, play with something in terms of that and then preview it in 3D. So you can go straight to 3D if you like. And we have other options as well. If you go on to product personalization apps, no preview. But we're finding the 2D to 3D preview is becoming increasingly popular, particularly in the garment industry, actually, where you can design a garment as a flat pattern and then view the garment actually on a person in terms of that. So all of that is driven from a standard smart link. So once you've implemented the smart link on your website, you can use all of that technology. And there's hundreds of configuration options that say hide this button, move it, add your own CSS. And when we look at the next slide, this tells us about some of the more advanced functionality you can add into your preview. So you can allow people to change the product from within the preview screen, have a linked image gallery, Even take credit card payments, as we discussed earlier. So you can use a preview without even an e-commerce website, deploy as a smart QR code, do dynamic pricing. So as people add elements to the preview, it updates the price. Offer a series of dynamic designs so you don't have to have too many SKUs on the website. There's a ton of things you can do once you've implemented that preview. So I think in wrapping up where we're at, more examples on this product personalization apps.com. Go and have a play. But hopefully the principle is clear. Every product has its own unique preview link, and you can enable that preview link in a number of different ways. And if you're using a standard package, we've got ready-made extensions that will let you do it. And why bother? Because you're going to sell more. You're going to get a better customer experience. And I guess almost the number one for me too, you can actually get end-to-end workflow. So you reduce the cost of selling on-demand products. So hopefully you found that a reasonably educational tour of how easy it is to embed live previews on your website. As always, custom-gateway.com. We'd love to talk to you. Click the live chat, give us a call, and let's help you increase your sales. Thank you for listening.